Hey guys, it's Felicia Z, and on today's segment I'm finally going to demonstrate the bodice sloper, also known as a shirt pattern. In a few moments I'm going to show you the measurements. You'll notice that I've placed masking tape on strategic points of my body. The reason why I'm using masking tape, it's because it's easier to write on, and this way I could just take a marker and place either a hyphen or a dot on the areas that I plan to take point-to-point measurements on. We are only taking the measurement from half of the body. This includes the front and the back. If you have a dress form that is an exact replica of your measurements, please just use that to take down the numbers. If you don't, you're just going to have to use yourself, and that's fine. However, you're going to need assistance when you take the back measurements. But if you're a contortionist, you could kind of, do that yourself. You don't need any help. I've also included a worksheet that is linked below, which includes all the ease for your measurements. Remember, you need ease in order to move. If you're taking the measurements on yourself, you'll need a tank top or a leotard, something that's very form-fitting, and the bra that you normally wear under your garments. Now, if you have any questions, please use the timestamp on the video as a reference point, and then add in your questions, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Place the tape at the neckline seam, that's the red mark that's closest to the neck, and have it go over the apex, which is the nipple, and it ends at the waistline. Place the tape at the center front bust line and take the measurement at the red dot, which is the nipple, and that's considered the apex. Place the tape where the neckline and shoulder intersect, and take the measurement at the collarbone, that's the red hyphen. Place the tape on the collarbone and get the measurement on the jugular, which is the hollow part in the center of your throat. You'll begin to measure from the center front over the apex to the side seam, and that's the width of the bust. Measure 1 inch below the armhole on the side seam to the waistline tape. It's important to keep it only 1 inch below the armhole. The waist measurement. Place the measuring tape over the shoulders so that the metal part of the tape is hitting the waist. I had a little difficult time taking the measurement on myself, so I'm going to show you how I take it on the dress form. Measure from the neckline to the shoulder seam. Measure from the underarm seam to the center back, which is the spinal column. Measure from the first protruding bone on the neck down the spinal column to the waistline. Measure from the armhole at the widest part of the back to the spinal column. Cut a 30-inch square pattern paper. Fold paper in half, come down a couple of inches from the top edge of the paper, and place a mark. From the mark, use the front length measurement of the bodice and place a mark. For example, mine is 17.5 inches. Using the bust width measurement, extend the line out from the top and bottom mark. Place a notch at the end of the line. Extend a line out to connect both notches and create your sloper block. Before proceeding to the next step, label the block as shown. Use the neck shoulder to collarbone measurement and place a mark. For instance, mine is 3 inches. From there, use the collarbone to the hollow of the throat measurement and extend a line. Draw another line to create a box, making sure that that line is parallel from the top edge of the paper. Use a French curve ruler to draw on your neckline. Measure the distance from the end of the neckline to the bottom of the waistline. Divide by 2 and place a mark. This will represent the bust line. From the bust line, use your apex measurement and extend the line out. Place a mark and label that apex. For instance, mine is 4 inches. From the apex point, extend a straight line using a ruler. The line must be parallel to the center front. This will represent the center leg of the waistline dart. At the waistline from the fold, measure in 1 1/4 inches. Place a dot and label it C. Using your underarm seam measurement, extend the line out, place a mark and label it D, and connect both points. This worksheet is on the website. However, I want to review the numbers to give you a clear understanding of how we got the 1 inch. Now, for the demonstration purposes, I picked 26 3/4 of an inch as the waist measurement. This way I get a whole number for the dart. Of course, that's not going to be the case for you. It may be a little different, or you may get the 1 inch. But the waist measurement here is 26 3/4 of an inch. I've added a quarter of an inch for ease, which gives me 27 inches. 27 inches is divided by 4 to give me 6 3/4 of an inch, which is the actual waist measurement. Remember, my draft was 8 3/4. I'm going to deduct the 6 3/4, which is my waist, from the draft to give me 2 inches. 2 inches is then divided by 2, which is each dart leg, to give me 1 inch. 1 inch is going to equate to each one of my dart legs. Use the number from the equation and place a mark from each side of the apex line. Now extend the line out to the apex point. From D, extend the line. For example, mine is 2 inches. Your corresponding measurement is also linked below the video. Place a notch and label that E. From D, go over a quarter of an inch, place a mark and label it F. From E, go up 2 1/2 inches, place a mark and label it G. At the waistline fold, measure up the measurement obtained from the waistline to the end of the shoulder. Place a dot and label it H. From H, go over 1/2 inch, place a mark and label it I. Place the French curve ruler so it's touching points F, G, and I, placing close attention to how the French curve is touching all 3 points, and draw on the armhole. Place the ruler at points I and A without connecting them. From I, measure half of the shoulder plus 1/8 of an inch for ease and place a mark. From A, measure half of the shoulder measurement plus 1/8 of an inch for ease and place a mark. Connect both points to the apex. Use a ruler to connect points A and I. Use a tracing wheel to trace the shoulder line dart. Open the draft and draw on the trace line using a ruler. Now let's begin to set up our back bodice. Trace the waistline and underarm seam onto the opposite side of the paper. Trace the F cross mark. Pencil in the waistline notch and underarm seam. Pencil in the F cross mark. Using the width of the back measurement, extend a line from the waistline and 1 inch down from the top edge of the paper. Now connect the 2 points to create your sloper block. Trace the guideline from the front bodice. Pencil it in and label it guideline. Label the straight edge CB. Begin from the center back waistline. Use your back length measurement, place a mark, and label it J. To determine the position and amount of your center back dart, do the following. Find the distance of the first center front dart. Use that measurement. From the center back, place a dot and label it K. This will represent the first leg of your dart. The center back waistline dart intake is equivalent to that of the center front dart intake. Once you've placed your 3 marks, extend a line from the center dot, making sure it's parallel from the CB line. From J, measure down 1/4 of the center back length, mark, and label L. From L, use your shoulder blade measurement, extend a line out and place a dot. From J, extend a 2-inch line and place a mark. From that point, go up 2 inches and place another mark and label it M. Use the French curve ruler to connect both points and draw on the neckline curve. Completely open the draft and lightly connect points M and I with a ruler. From M, use 1/2 of the shoulder measurement plus 1/8 of an inch for ease. Dot and label N. For instance, my shoulder measurement is 5, so half of that is 2.5 plus 1/8 of an inch for ease. From N, measure 1/2 an inch for the shoulder dart, dot, and label O. From O, use 1/2 of the shoulder measurement, plus 1/8 of an inch for ease, dot, and label P. Connect N to the apex point. Using the same line from the shoulder blade, go up 1 inch and place a mark. Extend a line from the dot to O. Crease the shoulder line dart towards the armhole and trace. Then pencil in with a ruler. Place the ruler at L, the shoulder blade, where it's intersecting with the waistline and underarm seam. Draw a broken line. I'm using a red marker so it's more visible. From that line, come down 1 inch and label it Q. Place the French curve ruler so it's touching points P, Q, and F. The ruler must touch all 3 points before you draw on the line. Draw in using a heavy pencil line. Fold the draft as demonstrated and draw a 1-inch line below the original waistline. Cut away the excess. Crease either side of the underarm seam, the back and front darts. Please pay attention to the direction of the overlay, the dart excess, so it's folded nearest to the side seam. With the draft pinned in place, trace through the dart underlays. Open the draft and use a French curve ruler to blend in the waistline. Set up the ruler so it's touching the front and back armhole. Place 1 notch for the front bodice and 2 for the back. The 2 notches on the back sloper should be 1/2 an inch apart. Carefully divide and cut your sloper with a rotary cutter or scissor as shown. All seams have to match before it's tested in muslin. Begin by closing the shoulder darts and tape the front and back bodice side by side, making sure that the dart seams match. Blend away the excess to 0 with a pencil and a curved ruler, then carefully trim away. Repeat with the side seams and the neckline if necessary. Truing helps to eliminate timely adjustments once in muslin. Place the bodice pieces right sides together and pin as you would if you were sewing along the shoulder line. Blend with a pencil before cutting away. And my bodice is complete. Well, not really. Remember, I still have to make some adjustments before I could transfer this onto oak tag or poster board. Our bodies are three-dimensional, so the measurement didn't take account for the curves that we have on our frame. Now let's take a look at some of the issues that you may encounter. Gaping in the armhole section or even the neckline. If you're making the fitting adjustments on yourself, you may have to go through 2 fittings. However, if someone is assisting you, you only need to go through 1. Carefully pin and smooth the excess on only one side of the bodice. Please remember that it's super important that this bodice fits you like a glove. In the future, I'll use this template to make other design variations. Because I'm doing the fitting on myself, I'll probably have to go through 2 test fittings. I took the excess from the armhole. On a new piece of pattern paper, draw in 2 grain lines using a marker. Pin the center front or center back onto the grain line on the pattern paper. The center line must perfectly match the line on the pattern paper. Once the center is perfectly pinned, carefully smooth out the fabric and continue pinning. Once you've placed your muslin onto oak tag or poster board, please do the following. Identify the sloper, front or back. Put your name, the date, the waist, the bust size. The armhole notches, the apex dot, dart notches, and grain line must be included on the sloper. Trace the muslin onto the poster board or oak tag without the seam allowance. Include the darts, the notches, the apex point, and grain line. I've included a sample of the sloper on my website if you're interested. Please don't forget to subscribe because I will be showing you how to do the sleeve sloper, and then from there we could start really getting creative. If you have any questions, please include the timestamp with your comment. I hope you learned a lot from this segment, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.